My name's Tim Johnson. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. I was watching a video earlier by Rockin' Roberta, who very kindly gave me a shout out. I've been following her for a long time, but she's 40 days now clear of Suboxone, and she's recorded her journey along the way. And she's reached a bit of a stage at the moment of sort of flatness and feeling quite a lot of anxiety, and she's a bit down. And it made me think back, early recovery is not easy, and the first sort of few months of recovery for myself, I had those same feelings, and I was still experiencing sort of poor sleep and anxiety, and my mood was down, lack of energy still. Even though I was doing all the right things, nutrition wise and exercise wise and all the rest of it, there was still a sort of feeling. So I looked to push on to the next stage of my recovery. It's a few months ago now, and I started hunting around the internet for people that I could learn from and would perhaps inspire me to change even further, because my goal has always been to be the best version of me I can be, as I've said before in other videos, and I'm not there yet by a long chalk, and I'm still hunting and still finding people that inspire me. But along that way, I found a man, and this was sort of 6 months in, I suppose. His name, and I've not talked about this much before. I mentioned it a couple of times, but it's been absolutely integral to my recovery. This, and it's not for everyone. And you've got to have an open mind about this, and you've got to go in with belief, and you've got to go in with discipline and focus if you're going to do this method. His name is Wim Hof, and that's spelled Wimhof. He's known as the Iceman. He's a Dutchman, same age as me actually, 57 years old, and he holds 26 Guinness World Records. This is what he was originally famous for, and it was all about exposure to extreme cold and superhuman feats. I'll give you a few examples. I won't go through all 26 records, but a few examples which confounded all the scientists were that he climbed Mount Everest up to the death zone in a pair of bare feet and a pair of shorts, nothing else on, no oxygen, which defied all explanation, and scientists didn't believe any human could do that, and he did that. He has immersed in a bath of ice right up to from top to toe, basically, for 2 hours stretch, and controlled his internal body temperature from within his own, and this has all been scientifically proven. He has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in just his shorts again, and this is in freezing minus 20 temperatures in a record time of 2 days with no oxygen. And this is all in his sort of 50s and whatever. Many other feats that have defied the scientists. And he he lost his wife. His wife committed suicide, and he had 4 children. He was in the pits of despair, and he discovered this method, and there's 3 pillars to this method. One is breathing techniques, one is exposure to cold, and one is meditation and stretching techniques. And the thing is with this, it's quite an in-depth. I mean, you can go online, and I don't get, I'm not involved in his stuff at all. But you can buy a course online. But I just picked. There's hundreds of clips, literally, because this bloke has just took off on YouTube. He has, there's millions of people following him now, and doing his method, and it's changed their lives, much as it's changed mine. So you can look the method up on YouTube. There's many videos about the Wim Hof method on YouTube. But essentially, the three techniques are, and it takes me about sort of initial part, sort of half-hour day, so that anyone can do it. Anyone can find time to do it. The thing is, just set your alarm half an hour earlier. I do it as soon as I wake up. I do the breathing method. I do it twice a day. It takes 20 minutes. You only need to do it once a day, but I do it twice a day. I just find it benefits me to do it first thing when I wake up, and I sort of do it mid to late afternoon, and it aids my sleep and etc. But it's essentially 3 rounds. You need to look this up, but it's 3 rounds of breathing. They call it the balloon breath, and 40 breaths of half out, hold, half out. 30 like that, but really deep from your stomach. And you do this lying down, I do it, but sitting down is fine, or sitting in the yoga position is fine, as long as you're relaxed when you do it and don't force it. At the end of those 40 breaths, you do a final breath, breathe out, and then hold your breath. Now, a normal person can hold their breath for sort of 30 seconds, 45 seconds. When you've done this, you can hold it for up to 3 minutes and longer. Initially, your initial round of breathing, you'll probably do it for up to a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And onwards, it'll get longer as you go along. You do 3 rounds of this breathing. That's the breathing technique. That's very simple in a nutshell. You need to look this up and read it up. The cold therapy starts with cold showers daily. Now, this sounds a bit woo-woo, a bit strange, but it's an amazing thing because it's a mental and physical thing, because it's not only does it boost your immune system and it gives you massive energy throughout the day, it also affects your brain and your thinking, because you're putting yourself through discomfort. You start to be able to conquer things, and then after the initial few times, it doesn't become discomfort, it becomes norm. And then the stages on from that are into ice and all the rest of it. But you need to look this up, as I say. And the meditation is about focus, and it's about belief and believing what's happening to you. Now, the scientific, because I'll read it now, it's Radboud University scientists started to study him because he said that he could control his autonomic immune system, his autonomic nervous system. And of course, the scientists thought he's doing all these things which confound science. This is impossible for a human to do what he's doing. I mean, he swam under the ice 6 or 7 minutes under the ice in the Arctic. There was a little hole one side and a little hole on the other side, 200 meters under the ice, 6 minutes in minus 20, minus 30, whatever it was under there. And it's just superhuman things happening here. So they didn't, they thought this guy's obviously just a freak of nature. So they decided to do a test on him. So they, at random from the electoral roll, they took 24 people who agreed to take part in this experiment, because Wim Hof said he could teach this method to anybody. And this method will definitely, and has done for me, and has done for many, many, many thousands of people now, it will boost your energy. It will boost your mood. It will help with anxiety. It will help with depression, with worry. It will help with your sleep. It massively boosts your immune system, so you heal quicker. You don't catch things. In every single way, it will help you. It'll help your general health. It will turn your body alkaline because of the amount of oxygen. It turns all the cells in your alkaline body, and this, if you do this in the morning, this lasts all day. So, I mean, things like cancer and other illnesses can't grow in alkaline conditions. There's many, many. You need to look up all these things. I can't go through them all in this video because there's just so many benefits for it, and also it lets you it teaches you how to meditate without going through all the rigmarole, because the breathing will take you into a place in your brain where you can't get to. It takes years of meditation to get to this space that you get to with this, because of the oxygen in your brain and this technique that he's discovered. But back to the scientists. The scientists got these 24 people, said, right, if you say you can control your autonomic, immune system, etc., in your body, and switch your temperature, control your hypothalamus in your brain, because they put when he was in the ice, they put a rectal thermometer inside him, and amazingly, he lifted his internal body temperature, which you can only do because it's an involuntary thing. It happens in your hypothalamus in your brain. But he lifted his body temperature as he immersed into the ice for 2 hours and brought it up to normal in his body, and slowed his heart rate to a rate which was, sort of 25, 30 beats a minute. And, it just defied all explanation. So they got these 24 people, and he said he could teach this technique. So he took 12 people away for 4 days and taught them his technique in 4 days intensively. So taught them the breathing, the stretching, the meditation. Which meditation, don't get hung up on the meditation. The meditation naturally follows. it's the breathing and the cold therapy that matter. So he started them with cold showers, then took them into the ice, and immersed them in ice and all the rest of it, and brought them back after 4 days to the laboratory. So the 12 people didn't get trained by him were separated, and the 12 people that were trained by him plus himself on another side. And the scientists then, this is all reported, you can look all this up, then injected all 24 subjects with an endotoxin, which was E. coli. The 12 people who he didn't train, without fail, every single one of them got badly ill. The 12 people plus himself that he did train showed no symptoms at all, absolutely none. So explain that one. All I can tell you is that you need to look this up, and you need to be open-minded about it. But it has helped me immeasurably. I've been doing it for 3 months now, and it is now an integral part of my recovery. And I do it on a daily basis. You don't need the time. I mean, a couple of cold showers a day I have, and I've had an ice bath 2 or 3 times a week, and you need to look up the reasons for this, but it's all links in, the breathing, the ice, the cold, and the mental and the stretching. But be open-minded about it. Look it up and give it a try, because I promise you, and believe me, I'm one of the world's skeptics. Things need to be proven to me before and this is not a mental thing, because you immediately, as soon as you start doing this, the day you start doing it and practicing this properly, and as I say, go on YouTube, many videos. Look at the interview with Lewis Howes on the School of Greatness that Wim Hof did, and also the interview with, what's her name now? I need to look up on this list. Dr. Rhonda Patrick, that Wim Hof did. Many interviews and many videos, testimonials to him. Many people saying that their autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis have, if not been cured, the symptoms have disappeared. This will help with pain, because massive anti-inflammatories are released into your body when you do this, which last all day. So you don't need to take anti-inflammatories, because your body's natural anti-inflammatories will be activated because we don't breathe properly. And this teaches you how to, and you find yourself doing it all day anyway. Not to the same extent as you do in this concentrated session, but you find yourself naturally breathing more deeply and strongly, and it affects every aspect of your life. Trust me. And I still do all the things. My diet is still clean, and I still do all my other exercise as well. And one other amazing thing with this, and then I'll leave it. You need to look for yourselves, because I'm really enthusiastic about it. And I've got no link to this, on money or anything. I'm just enthusiastic about it because it's changed my life immeasurably. And I just want to share it with you, because like the video, Roberta's video this morning sparked me into that, because I felt for her. I know how she felt, and I know this technique has helped. It's took me on to the next stage, but I didn't really want to share it until I was well into it. Until I was sure it was that was affecting me. Finally, there's what they call the press up challenge that Wim Hof does, and you've done your rounds of breathing. Now this is a separate technique, so you sit down into a comfortable position, and you're either on a chair with you, just lean back, relax. Do a round of the breathing when you're relaxed, like up to 40 odd breaths of the breathing, and then hold your breath, breathe out and hold your breath, and do push-ups. Now I guarantee you, and it worked for me first time, that if you can do 20 press-ups or 10 press-ups, holding your breath after you've done this, you'll do double that. You will do double that. And this automatically, and again, the scientists don't understand why this happens or whatever, this resets your whole nervous system. You feel amazing after you've done it. It's like, it's a funny old feeling, but it's amazing, which just shows you how much more you can accomplish when you're taking in double, which is why he's been able to do all these amazing things. It's all about the breath and the cold. He calls the cold his God, and it's a mind-body connection. So just keep that in your mind, mind-body connection, belief and focus, and just go for it and look it up. Anyway, sorry to ramble on, and but I am enthusiastic about this, and I do want to share it with as many people as possible. So, carpe diem, seize the day today. Seize the day. Today's the day you find your Wim Hof method and give it a go, because I guarantee you that it will help you. If it doesn't change your life, then, I'm not saying it's the panacea to all your worries and all the rest of it, but it will help you. There's no doubt about it. So be open-minded about it and read up on it. Okay, so carpe diem. Much love to you. Hold on if you're struggling, because it will get better, and it does get better. Bye.